in advance. We now have one of those sessions. We have an interview with the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, who is zooming in live, and conducting this interview is Reuters Editor-in-Chief, Alessandra Galloni. So I'd like to invite you back to the stage, Alessandra.
So, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to President Zelenskyy. President Zelenskyy, thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Hello, hello. So, shall we get started right away? Thank you for joining us. So let's talk about today's news, which is European Union accession. The EU has recommended that the bloc open negotiations for membership with you. When do you expect that Ukraine will be in the European Union?
Thank you so much. Yes, today is successful day, but if I can use such word during the war, but anyway, our fighting is for democracy, for freedom, is the same values which we share with EU leaders, EU countries, people who live in EU. So so for today that we have very good recommendations, but the result to open this dialogue about membership, this will be the decision. This decision will be, I think, on 14th, 15th December. So it will be the next step. After those steps will be dialogue, and dialogue. I don't know how long it will be. Nobody knows, but that is a very important signal today. Signal that recommendations, including reforms. First of all, reforms in Ukraine. That's a good signal that even during the war, we can do all we can, all of the best we can, and we do it. And for us, it's very important.
Great. One of the key conditions that the EU mentioned is to make more progress in tackling corruption. How specifically do you plan to deal with this?
Very concretely, we did a lot, mostly in anti-corruption infrastructure. We voted on the laws, mostly. Now we have some law about special anti-corruption prosecutor, and some questions with it, but it's the new law, and it's already been registered in the parliament, and I hope our parliamentarians in the closest time will vote for this law. It's the new step. We didn't need it for this moment, but anyway, again, I can repeat it. First of all, our people, our heroes, our soldiers, what we do, work or fight, we do it for us. And the reforms is the same. This is also fighting with the old system. And that's why we do it for us. Of course, we need it for EU to be the member of EU. But first of all, we do it for us, for our people. We need it.
One more question on this. The report also flags that as over time you start to rebuild infrastructure and places that have been devastated by the fighting, and that you will be using foreign money, that you ensure that this specific process is free from corruption. Can you do that?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, I think that what is important on what topic we are working out, it's very important not only to have clean system and anti-corruption infrastructure will be done. It's almost done. And this what we need. We need to make a decision, jointly decision with EU members and G7 countries also, how to use Russian assets for renovating. That is also very important, because I understand, and I'm very thankful, United States, EU members and other countries who are in all the world, they really help us from first days of this full-scale war. It was crucial, important, not to be alone against Russian tyranny, but they are with us. But for today, if Russia attacked us during all these years, almost 2 years of full-scale war, attacked us and destroyed our, from infrastructure to energy infrastructure to houses, just apartments, people lives. Why, if they attack, why we can't use these assets? And we began to work on it. We have progress in it. We began to use now interests from some of these assets. But we need joint decision to hold this money, which are frozen now, and to take this money for renovation, because Russia destroyed. It means that Russia have to pay for this. And I think that is, it's very important for us, and I think for the world also. Now we have, for example, only minimum we have after Belgium decision, thanks Alessandra, Prime Minister and his team, we can use only taxes from interest of the assets. So that is the answer, because, for example, when we have gap in our budget, about 40 billion, it was last year. This year, we managed it better, and now 5% increase of GDP. But anyway, we have big gap. If we will use even only interest, not taxes, interest from all this frozen money, we can shut, the half of this gap. Great. It will be more simple for the United States and for Europe.
Thank you. Let's move to the counteroffensive. So the Ukrainian counteroffensive has not achieved as much as you would have hoped, as the West would have hoped. Just in the last month, I believe Ukraine has taken a net 16 square meters, 16 square meters of land. What is your new plan?
Thank you for your question. First of all, what does mean the new plan? So I can share some details. Yes, we have plan. We have very concrete cities, very concrete directions where we go, where we have counteroffensive. I can't share with you all the details, but you know that we have some slow steps forward, like you said, on the south of our country. Also, we have steps on the east, and some I think good steps near Kherson region. And but you have, I'm sure that we will have success. It's difficult. Sometimes it sounds like something, fantastic, but like I said, nobody believed at the beginning of the war that we can manage this war and we can destroy Russian army. We did it. Now there are some difficulties. When some people or some, I don't know who, that when they said that we count on quick steps of counteroffensive. But you have to know that in each steps there are, first, motivation, people, ammunition. And when we count, for example, for one volume of ammunition and we get half, for example. So it doesn't mean that I'm not thankful. No, I'm thankful to all the leaders, really. I know that without your help, without United States, leaders of Europe, we couldn't manage this result, what we have for today. It's real. But you have also understand that there are so many bad surprises, crisis. can be crisis in some parliament or in Congress. The decision are making a little bit slowly. Then, of course, our soldiers came on the south and saw a lot of minefields because we waited for ammunition 7 months, really. And Russia used this time to undermine, yes, in English,
yes.
to mine all this. But I just want to tell you one thing. So I'm sure in our people, and first days of the war, we've been together, people and army, and we showed all the world our unity. And I think that is important not to lose it. And on this unity, there is a big influence, not only in our country, there is a big influence on the West. Leaders of the West, leaders in Europe, United States, and your attitude, Congress of the United States, and their attitude, not. Of course, it's difficult when you have now the war on the Middle East, and nobody knows when it will finish, and nobody knows the result of this tragedy. But you have to know if everybody been focused on Ukraine previous year, now you see the dividing focus. Yes, so a lot of challenges, and that's why there are some slow process.
Yes. I'm going to come back to allies in just a moment, but I did want to press you just one more time on the situation on the ground and the counteroffensive. How much land do you think that you can claim back over the next year?
Next year, we didn't. First of all, we didn't finish this year. You have to know.
Okay.
We are trying.
This year. This year. Let's.
I don't know how many kilometers to be square kilometers. I don't know. Sometimes it can be like it was previous year with Kherson. 2 months we couldn't. It was tough period on Kherson, very tough. We couldn't, deoccupy dozens of kilometers, and then we broken this defending line of Russia, and they began to run away. And we deoccupied Kherson region, including one of the biggest cities, Kherson, one of the biggest occupied cities in region. So that is the answer. So we'll see. We'll try to show the result this year, and for us it's very important because we lose people each day. It's not because of some movie, some show. I mean that we don't need to surprise everybody in the world. Yes, we need for ourselves try not to lose each day, because each day we are losing people.
Of course.
Less than Russians, that's good news. But less people, but people, it's very bad news.
Of course.
So and next year we have plan. Yes, for the next year, very concrete plan. And but I will not share. I'm so sorry.
That's a pity.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
That's a pity. Okay, let's move to your allies. You said yourself, the U.S. and other countries are now being asked to fund 2 wars, not one. And as you said, there is some resistance, particularly in the U.S., in Congress, particularly among Republicans, about spending more on Ukraine, and that the war is distracting some of your allies. So what is your new narrative, and what is your new ask as attention has shifted to Gaza?
First of all, I don't want to compare these two situations. We understand that that is big tragedy on the Middle East, of course. human losses. Of course, it's a big tragedy, but you can't compare it with a full-scale war. I'm not trying to say that something is more important. No, with all respect to all the nations. But you have to understand that full-scale war, it's another thing. It's another thing. It's about, for today, millions. It's about millions of people which are not living here, which are abroad. It's about 7-8 million people. So it's another way. And if Ukraine will be broken by Russia, you will see millions of victims and dozens of millions of immigration. Yeah. So that's other things, and the war will go to other NATO countries after Ukraine. It's a fact. We have all documents from intelligence, and we always share in these documents with our partners, and they understand that risk is so high of this full-scale war, and the crisis on the Middle East, it's a part of the global idea of Russia, and now Russia with Iran, and that's a fact. And I understand that there are political challenges in Congress because of election period, because of many details, and I understand, but we can't compare it. What I wanted to share with you.
Of course. Let me ask you, you mentioned, we're talking about the U.S., we're in the U.S. Here, those of us gathered in this conference are in the U.S. now. How worried are you about a possible Trump presidency?
That is the decision of American people, who will be the American president. So it's really not my decision. It's good or bad, I don't know, but it's a fact. I hope that American people, that the president will always look to the attitude of people, of society. If Americans, if we share the same, the same problems, if we understand all these challenges and the result and the damage of the war, I think that any president will be, I don't know, will help Ukraine. But if the plan is to stop the war and to manage it very quickly, just to manage it, just to fix it for yourself, and doesn't matter what the price, our people, our sovereignty, if United States will change the position, if changing some leaders in some institutions, including Congress or White House, if something will be like this, and if it will change your foreign policy, so what can I say? Okay, we will fight. Okay, we will fight without you, but you have to understand our people. We will do it, because for us, freedom. From this moment, the territories of other countries, of other nations, will be compromised.
So let me
including
ask you
Asia, Africa, and other regions.
So let me ask you then, as we draw to a close, how does this war end, President Zelenskyy?
Russian soldiers have to go to their own sovereign land. First of all, they have to go out, because this is real way to stop the war. They have to go out, and after that, we can begin diplomatic platform or way how to finish the war. That's written in the peace formula. There are points of peace formula, but I don't want, now deeply go to the peace formula. I can. I know all these points. It consists of how to decrease 10 big challenges of the war. But for today, what is important? To go out of our land. And they will do it. And you will see. They will do it. Somebody think that, what can I say? Somebody, I know that there is such emotion now through some leaders. They say that, but Russia 4 times bigger, if we're speaking about population, 4 times bigger than Ukraine. It means that Ukraine can't be in war too long, because 4 times bigger. Yeah, it's true. But you have to know, I don't want to share with you, I can't share with you our victims, our casualties, but I can say that they are, for today, minimum 5-hour casualties, 5 times less.
So you've said no compromise and no solution until Russia leaves. My last question then is, China has offered to be a mediator in this conflict. Would you accept that?
I don't know. I didn't hear that China's proposed something. I'm so sorry. They had their proposition, very concrete proposition. They had a list of steps. I remember this. That is from their vision, peace decisions. And not only them, also Africa had it. I had conversation with African leaders. And I had conversation with China. We are open for any voices, not Russian, from any voices, including our partners and including Brazil, United States, China, Africa. And we involve them to our peace formula. We said that we can share your ideas. It's normal. We are free. And it's not dogma that only our 10 points and that's it. Yes, our 10 points, but with your proposition, please. But everything has to be based on one idea. Otherwise, we'll never find solution. On one idea. There is idea. And the last time in Malta, after Jeddah and Denmark, Copenhagen, the last time we had 66 countries. We had 66 countries on this meeting, on the level of political advisors. And we've got, I think it was very successful.
Thank you. So we do have to close. We've gone over time, but I must ask you this one last, and truly this is to close. You are a comedian, an actor, a comedic actor. Can you tell us one thing that has made you laugh, even amid the tears of the past 2 years? One thing where you have laughed.
Зараз ви мені поставили це запитання. Now you asked me, and it's funny. That is the last moment. Yeah, sometimes I have possibility sometimes, really have possibility to see my children and my dogs. It's really great. My wife with children and with the dogs, and it's always funny, always funny. Sometimes I'm thinking, really, looking at all these wars, looking at all the crises, Middle East, not only Ukraine, everywhere, in Africa, in the Middle East. Sometimes I'm looking at this and think that the best way, if this planet will be the planet of dogs. I don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand people, really. I can't understand. I think that they are just crazy people.
Well, thank you. On the note of dogs leading the world, thank you very much. Thank you, President Zelenskyy.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you to President Zelenskyy for joining us, and thank you for that, Alessandra. So our next interview is with the Bank of America CEO, Brian Moynihan. A reminder that you can submit your questions for all of the